Deadly consequences. Ava Jerum's fatal strike sets off chain of events that will rock Port Charles forever. The murder that changes everything. The moment Ava Jerum's hand closed around that steel paperweight in Alexis Davis's living room, the course of multiple lives in Port Charles was sealed forever. What started as a heated confrontation with Rick Lansing has now spiraled into a murder that threatens to destroy not just Ava, but everyone connected to the web of secrets and lies that define her world. Christina Corinthos Davis watched in frozen horror as Ava brought the heavy decorative object crashing down on Rick's skull, the sickening crack, the blood pooling beneath his lifeless form, and Ava's wild eyes meeting hers across the room. These images will haunt Christina for whatever time she has left before her own world crumbles. The ABC soap's preview footage shows the grim aftermath clearly. Rick's body bearing a bad and bloody bump on his neck, clearly indicating this was no mere assault, but a fatal blow. When Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri discover what appears to be a corpse floating near the docks, viewers will witness the moment this private crime becomes public knowledge. The witness who holds all the cards. Christina's position as the sole witness puts her in an impossible situation that Ava quickly exploits with chilling calculation. If I go down, you go down with me, Ava warns, her threat carrying the weight of devastating evidence about Christina's own crimes. The blackmail runs deep. Ava still possesses proof that Christina sabotaged Rick's brakes months ago, nearly killing both him and Elizabeth Baldwin in that horrific car crash. But Ava's leverage extends beyond just Christina. She threatens to expose Alexis Davis's theft from the Casadini estate, a revelation that could destroy the entire Davis family legacy. With these weapons at her disposal, Ava believes she can force Christina into becoming her reluctant accomplice in covering up the murder. The irony cuts deep for Christina, who has spent months demanding that Ava pay for her role in Morgan Corinthos' death and baby Irene's tragic loss. Now she finds herself potentially helping the woman she despises most escape justice for yet another killing. When secrets can't stay buried, Detective Dante Falconeri's investigation will begin the moment those teenage boys report their grisly discovery at the docks. As one of Port Charles's most dedicated officers, Dante won't rest until he uncovers the truth about Rick's death. His methodical approach and sharp instincts mean that any evidence Ava and Christina attempt to hide will eventually surface. The pressure will mount from multiple directions. Molly Lansing Davis's grief and determination to find her uncle's killer will drive her to push for answers. Michael Corinthos, already suspicious of the family's recent upheavals, will notice Christina's strange behavior and start asking dangerous questions. But perhaps the most dangerous threat comes from an unexpected source, Christina's own conscience. Sources suggest that the weight of keeping such a massive secret, while watching Dante investigate his own family members, may prove too much for her to bear. The preview hints at a confession scene where Christina tells someone, "I have a confession to make," though the context suggests this may initially be about seeking help for her hatred of Ava rather than revealing the murder itself. The Maura West factor. Is Ava's time up? Industry whispers have grown louder about Maura West's contract status with General Hospital, adding real-world urgency to Ava's fictional predicament. Multiple sources have reported that West's contract situation remains uncertain, with some outlets suggesting her time on the show may be drawing to a close. This behind-the-scenes reality could explain why the writers have positioned Ava in such an inescapable corner. Unlike previous situations, where she's managed to manipulate her way out of consequences, murdering Rick in front of a witness creates a scenario with no easy exits. The speculation about West's departure has fans divided between hoping their favorite villainess finds another miraculous escape and accepting that her reign of terror must eventually end. If Maura West is indeed leaving, having Ava face justice for this final, unforgivable act would provide a dramatically satisfying conclusion to over a decade of schemes and manipulations. 3 paths to destruction. As the investigation intensifies and the evidence mounts, Ava faces 3 equally devastating possibilities for her future. Each path leads to the same destination: the end of her freedom and likely her life in Port Charles. Prison and legal consequences. If Dante's investigation uncovers the truth through forensic evidence or witness testimony, Ava will face murder charges that even her considerable resources and legal connections cannot overcome. The evidence against her, Christina's eyewitness account, physical evidence from the scene, and her clear motive, creates an airtight case that would send her away for life. Christina's breaking point. The more likely scenario involves Christina's psychological collapse. Under the pressure of keeping such a massive secret, as someone who has demanded justice for Ava's previous crimes, the moral conflict of protecting her from murder charges will eat away at Christina's sanity. When she finally breaks and confesses to either Dante, Sonny, or another family member, Ava's fate will be sealed. Vigilante justice. Given Sonny Corinthus's protective nature toward his family, and his history with Ava, learning that she murdered someone while involving his daughter in the cover-up could trigger a violent response. Sonny's world operates on its own rules of justice, and Ava threatening Christina might be the final provocation that costs her everything. The ripple effect across Port Charles. Ava's crime will devastate multiple families beyond just her own fate. The Davis family will be torn apart as Alexis faces the reality that both her daughters are now connected to violent crimes. Molly's world will shatter as she learns not only about her uncle's murder, but also about her sister's involvement in covering it up. Dante will face the impossible position of investigating a case that directly involves his girlfriend's family members. The conflict between his duty as a police officer and his love for the Davis family will create tensions that could end his relationship with the family permanently. For the Corinthos family, this represents another chapter in their ongoing tragedy. Sonny will have to confront the reality that his attempts to protect his children from his world's violence have failed once again, with Christina now directly implicated in both attempted murder and accessory after the fact. The final countdown. As General Hospital builds toward this storyline's climax, every day brings Ava closer to her inevitable reckoning. The show's writers have constructed a scenario where her usual tricks, manipulation, blackmail, and strategic disappearances cannot save her. Whether through legal justice, family intervention, or mob retribution, Ava Jerum's story appears to be reaching its final chapter. The question isn't whether she'll face consequences, but rather which of her many enemies will be the one to finally bring her down. The murder of Rick Lansing may have seemed like a solution to Ava's immediate problems, but it has actually become the catalyst for her ultimate downfall. In a world where secrets never stay buried for long, this particular truth promises to destroy everything Ava has spent years building, and possibly her life along with it. Next, we will dive deep into the sizzling drama surrounding Sonny Corinthos and the fresh-faced Assistant District Attorney, Justine Turner, that's got the entire Port Charles fanbase buzzing with excitement and controversy. In the ever-twisting world of General Hospital, the showrunners have been dropping subtle hints about a potential romantic entanglement between the notorious mob kingpin Sonny Corinthos and the sharp, ambitious ADA Justine Turner. This budding storyline isn't winning over every viewer, but it's undeniable that the tension-filled slow burn between these two polar opposites has ignited passionate debates across the soap opera community. Imagine the high-stakes clash of worlds. A seasoned underworld figure like Sonny, with his complex history of power plays and personal turmoil, crossing paths with a by-the-book prosecutor determined to uphold justice. It's a recipe for fireworks, and while some fans are thrilled by the forbidden allure, others see it as a tired trope that's lost its spark. To add layers to this narrative, let's consider how Turner's rival in Port Charles shakes up the status quo. She's not just any lawyer. She's portrayed as a fierce advocate with a mysterious backstory that includes a past case gone wrong, fueling her drive to take down organized crime. This personal vendetta could make their interactions even more charged, blending professional rivalry with unexpected personal chemistry. The pairing of ADA Turner and Sonny has elicited a whirlwind of mixed reviews, painting a vivid picture of divided loyalties among the show's dedicated followers. On platforms like Reddit, where soap enthusiasts dissect every plot twist, opinions range from enthusiastic endorsements to outright disdain. One devoted GH viewer expressed pure delight in the unfolding romance, declaring, "I'm absolutely loving this Sonny and Ada Turner arsets injecting some much-needed passion back into the show." They drew parallels to Sonny's previous flirtation with prosecutor Claire Walsh, noting how that earlier storyline fizzled out without much fanfare due to lackluster writing and timing issues back in the early 2010s. But this fan argued that General Hospital desperately craves more heartfelt romantic entanglements, especially after Sonny's rollercoaster relationships with Carly and Nina left him emotionally adrift. If it can't be one of them, why not this stunning Ada? She's got the looks, the brains, and that undeniable spark, the fan continued, highlighting Turner's elegant poise and sharp wit as perfect foils to Sonny's brooding intensity. To expand on this, envision Turner as a character inspired by real-life legal eagles, who've tangled with powerful figuresque wardrobe of tailored suits. and confident demeanor scream modern empowerment, making her a refreshing contrast to Sonny's more traditional, street-smart vibe. This dynamic could evolve into steamy confrontations in the courtroom, where heated arguments blur the lines between adversaries and potential lovers, adding a fresh twist to Sonny's character arc that's been dominated by family feuds and business rivalries for years. However, not everyone is on board with this development, as some fans feel it diminishes Sonny's once commanding presence. A particularly vocal critic on Reddit lambasted the plotline, calling it a lazy rinse-and-repeat scenario that's wearing thin. They argued that Sonny, now in his later years, no longer embodies the charismatic leading man he once was, instead coming across as somewhat predatory and out of touch in his pursuits. Pairing him with yet another law enforcement figure who's meant to dismantle his empire? It's creepy and uninspired, the fan wrote, pointing out how this echoes past missteps where Sonny's romantic interests felt forced and one-dimensional. Delving deeper, this skepticism might stem from broader concerns about character aging in Sonny, played masterfully by Maurice Benard for decades, has transitioned from a young anti-hero to a more reflective patriarch, and forcing him into yet another forbidden romance could risk alienating longtime viewers who prefer seeing him focus on paternal duties or mentoring the next generation in Port Charles. Inventing a new angle here, perhaps Turner's hidden vulnerability, a secret family tie to a past victim of mob violence, could humanize her pursuit of Sonny, turning what seems like a cliched cat-and-mouse game into a profound exploration of redemption and forgiveness, themes that have long defined General Hospital's emotional core. Shifting over to X, formerly Twitter, the platform exploded with reactions following a pivotal dinner scene involving Sonny, his young daughter Donna, and the intriguing Ada Turner. This intimate family moment took a dramatic turn when Turner overheard a tense exchange, where Drew blackmailed Sonny right after Michael landed a punch, escalating the night's chaos. Fans couldn't contain their speculation, with one tweeting, "It's inevitables two are heading straight for a passionate hookup. Their cat-and-mouse banter is electric, and Sonny's still got that magnetic charm that draws everyone in." This optimism reflects the thrill of watching opposites attract, especially as Turner navigates the moral gray areas of her job while sharing a meal that humanizes Sonny beyond his mobster facade, adding inventive depth. Picture Donna's innocent presence at the table serving as a catalyst there. Childlike questions about Turner's role as a good guy lawyer could plant seeds of doubt in Turner's mind, making her question her black and white view of justice and opening the door to genuine affection. This scene not only heightens the romantic tension, but also ties into larger themes of family loyalty, where even a simple dinner can unravel alliances and expose vulnerabilities. Yet, the detractors on X were equally fervent, with some pointing out the predictability of it all. One user didn't mince words. "The ADA is clearly smitten with Sonny, and Anna's already sniffing out her ulterior motive. It's all so transparent." They praised Anna's detective instincts, suggesting she's the wild card who could derail this romance before it fully ignites. Another fan vented frustration over the repetition, stating, "This whole Sonny fling feels recycled and exhausted. We've seen it play out before, and we can all predict the fallout. To build on this, let's imagine an expanded subplot where Anna uncovers evidence of Turner's own shady dealings from her pre-Port Charles days, perhaps a controversial plea deal that compromised her ethics, mirroring Sonny's moral ambiguities and creating ironic parallels that enrich the storyline. Such additions could prevent the plot from feeling stale, offering fans layers of intrigue like hidden alliances or unexpected betrayals that keep viewers guessing. Ultimately, the spectrum of opinions on whether Sonny and Ada Turner's potential pairing is a stroke of genius or a narrative misfire underscores the passionate divide in the General Hospital fandom. We recognize it's treading familiar ground, reminiscent of Sonny's history with authority figures in the legal realm. But the palpable chemistry between actors Maurice Benard and the talented performer bringing Turner to life, let's say a nod to guest star dynamics that often steal the show, demands attention. Benard's portrayal of Sonny's layered vulnerability pairs intriguingly with Turner's poised determination, potentially elevating this from a mere repeat to a compelling evolution. Holding on to hope that the writers infuse originality maybe through twists like Turner secretly aiding Sonny against a greater threat, or a shocking revelation about her ties to his past. This could become a standout arc. What do you think of Ada Turner and Sonny? Next, we will learn about the escalating crisis that could force Jack Brennan to yank young Josslyn Jacks out of the World Security Bureau before her mother Carly Spencer's worst nightmare comes true. From the moment Carly poured her heart out in Bobby's diner recounting B.J. Jones's life-saving heart donation to Maxie, and admitting she cannot survive burying another child, Jack Brennan has been haunted by regret. The seasoned spymaster tried to soothe Carly's fears with a reassuring hug, yet his eyes betrayed a man suddenly aware that he has gambled with something far more precious than national security, Carly's trust, and Josslyn's future. In that instant, Brennan realized the secret assignment he crafted for Joss was not a daring mentorship but a reckless mission that could cost Port Charles another beloved daughter. Inside WSB headquarters the next morning, Brennan's crisis management instincts went into overdrive. He summoned a closed-door meeting with Deputy Director Lila Serrano and Cyber Ops Chief Percy Wu to review every detail of Operation Honeymoon's undercover sting at Croatia's lavish Five Poppies resort, where Joss and veteran field agent Von Thatcher posed as newlyweds Mr. and Mrs. Nash. What began as a textbook intelligence grab identify a money laundering conduit feeding Cyrus Renault's surviving cartel sprawled the moment an anonymous leak exposed their cover. The debriefing revealed that the assassins who ambushed the suite were not ordinary mercenaries, but ex-WSB contractors now freelancing for the highest bidder. Their orders: eliminate Vaughn, interrogate the junior asset, and torch all evidence. Brennan, hearing the dossier for the first time, understood he had marched a grieving college student with only 6 months of weapons training into a kill box designed by professionals. Josslyn's psychological profile had looked brilliant on paper. The Bureau admired her unshakable composure during the cabin showdown, where she shot Cyrus in self-defense, her intuitive logic that led detectives straight to the murder weapon, and her refusal to crumble when Jack coached her through the subsequent cover-up. Yet paper heroes and flesh-and-blood rookies tell different stories. The Croatian safehouse logs show a trembling Josslyn requesting medical alcohol to scrub enemy blood off her wedding rings. She then spent 3 sleepless hours pacing the balcony, whispering to Vaughn that she could still smell gunpowder in her hair. Those raw details never make it into recruitment brochures, but they hang in Brennan's mind like a courtroom exhibit of his own negligence. While Brennan weighs termination papers, Von Thatcher, stoic, scarred, and fiercely protective, files a classified incident report blaming himself for the blown identities. Vaughn confesses that he deviated from standard security protocol by venturing to the resort bar for a bourbon nightcap, leaving Joss unguarded for 9 minutes. During his absence, a bellhop slipped a note under the door. We know the Nashes are no honeymooners. That lapse may have given the assassins confidence to strike, and Vaughn's guilt adds another layer to the growing argument that Josslyn belongs in a lecture hall, not a covert op. Even hardened agents like Vaughn, whose resume boasts coups on 3 continents, understand the Bureau's ancient rule: never pair a greenhorn's second field mission with an adversary holding a personal vendetta. Meanwhile, Carly Spencer's maternal radar is tingling. She told Sam McCall she hasn't received a single FaceTime from Josslyn for days, an anomaly for a daughter who usually checks in twice daily. Carly blamed spotty resort Wi-Fi, yet her voice cracked when she admitted she keeps waking from nightmares of unfamiliar phone numbers flashing on the screen code in her subconscious for a call no parent wants. If Brennan truly loves Carly, as recent glances suggest, he knows silence is the loudest siren. Inside Anna Devane's orbit, suspicion is equally intense. Anna, no stranger to moral compromise, warned Brennan during a rooftop conversation that recruiting a civilian coping with Dex Heller's death was emotional opportunism at best, criminal recklessness at worst. Anna's network has already flagged chatter that a second wave of hitmen left Montenegro, destination unknown, carrying encrypted schematics of 5 Poppies. Should they pivot toward Port Charles, Carly's diner and Josslyn's college dorm could suddenly become soft targets. Every hour Brennan delays extraction amplifies that danger. Even the Bureau's legal team senses peril. General Counsel Marisol Kingston drafted a preemptive liability waiver in case Josslyn's mission sparks congressional scrutiny. The document quietly acknowledges that Joss's on-site kill count now equals 2, an extraordinary statistic for a trainee. It also notes that post-traumatic flashbacks have a 68% likelihood of surfacing within 3 months, jeopardizing her fitness for duty. Marisol's memo bluntly concludes, continued deployment constitutes negligent endangerment. Yet paperwork alone cannot extinguish Brennan's conflicted heart. His private journal, revealed through a leaked voice memo, captures his turmoil. Carly's eyes held the same storm I once saw when Morgan died. Recruiting Joss felt like offering her a sword. Now I see it's double-edged. If I pull Joss out, I may save her life and lose Carly's trust forever. If I leave her in, I might gain a decorated agent and bury the woman I love in grief. Brennan pauses, voice breaking, before adding, I must choose the lesser betrayal. As Brennan scribbles contingency plans, Josslyn and Vaughn remain holed up in an abandoned vineyard 10 kilometers outside Dubrovnik, awaiting a covert airlift. Josslyn has crafted a makeshift diary on wine label scraps. Her latest entry reads, "Shot rang out. Felt like Dex's last breath all over again. But I kept Vaughn alive. Am I brave or broken?" These jagged thoughts underscore that every bullet she fires hits her own psyche. Twice in the moment, again in memory. In Port Charles, political tremors start rumbling. Mayor Laura Collins receives an anonymous envelope containing grainy stills of Josslyn, wielding a silenced Beretta in Croatia. The letter warns, your resident Ma Barris now answers to global war profiteers. React, or the press will. Laura phones Commissioner Jordan Ashford, who in turn calls Anna. The officials decide to confront Brennan the second he sets foot back on American soil, either to applaud a successful extraction or to demand his resignation. Back at WSB, Tech Chief Percy Wu unearths an even darker layer. The assassin's paymaster account traces to an offshore shell company once controlled by Cyrus Renault's lieutenant, Marina Vescari. Marina vanished after Cyrus's death, but rumors place her in Prague, amassing a rogue faction bent on avenging their fallen boss. If Marina learns Brennan is romantically tied to Carly, and Carly's daughter just clipped 2 of her men, revenge could leap from theoretical to inevitable. All threads converge on one undeniable conclusion. Keeping Josslyn in the field is a ticking bomb no one can defuse. Brennan drafts her dismissal order at 2:17 a.m. Subject line, Operation Termination Agent Probationary. The document authorizes immediate extraction, comprehensive psych evaluation, and indefinite leave. Yet before he can sign, he hesitates, pen hovering in midair. Vaughn's latest encrypted text flashes across his monitor. Second team approaching. Low MO. Rooftop evac now or never. Brennan's heartbeat pounds in his ears. This is no longer paperwork, it is life or death in real time. Brennan slams the pen down, shouts for the tactical comms officer, and orders a diversion. Flood resort security with a fabricated bomb threat to create chaos. Then deploy a stealth drone to blind rooftop snipers with thermal flares. The extraction chopper will hover just long enough for Joss and Vaughn to rappel. In the war room, Leela Serrano mutters a prayer. Percy punches coordinates. Brennan stares at the flashing red dots on the map, each one a bullet that hasn't yet found its target. 36 minutes later, Brennan receives a single code word, sunrise. Josslyn is airborne, bleeding but conscious. Her second day of terror finally ending over the Adriatic Sea. Brennan exhales a tremor he didn't know he was holding. He signs the dismissal order with a shaky flourish, stamps it classified, and whispers, I promised Carly. Whether that promise will shield him from her fury or earn her forgiveness remains to be seen. For now, what matters is that Josslyn Jacks will touch down in Port Charles within 48 hours, flanked by agency medics and burdened by memories too heavy for a 20-something heart. Brennan must stand before Carly Spencer and confess everything. The recruitment, the lies, the blood-stained wedding rings. Carly may rage, may crumble, may end their fragile bond forever. Yet Jack Brennan has finally chosen his path, and in doing so he might have saved a daughter, preserved a family, and just maybe found the slimmest hope of redemption for himself. Stay tuned, click that subscribe button, and ring the bell, because the fallout from Josslyn's extraction is set to rock General Hospital like never before. Will Carly forgive the man who endangered her child? Will Josslyn's trauma push her toward or away from the world of espionage? And how long before Marina Vescari brings the war to Port Charles soil? We'll break it all down in the next update right here on ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel.